All right, everybody. Happy Thursday. Um, I hope everybody's hours 1 through 7 have been excellent. Eighth hour will be excellent despite my absence, I'm certain. So, today we have a brief discussion. Well, it's not really a discussion, it's just me talking about the Electoral College and some of the controversy with it, as well as some of the reasons that support the continued use of it, and some of the reasons for its historical creation. Right, so to start off here, we have this quote from Hamilton, writing in Federalist number 68, um, about why the founders felt the Electoral College was the most effective way to choose the president. Right, so take a moment here, read the quote, and kind of consider what is Hamilton trying to say about people. What's he trying to say about who should be in charge of electing people that then govern everybody else? Okay. Okay, so Hamilton here, right? He's saying essentially that we need a small group of people who know stuff that needs to be known in order to make appropriate decisions for the entire country are the people that should be making those decisions, right? So he's saying the Electoral College ought to exist because we need, as Americans, we need people who are educated, people who are more likely to be involved in government, in politics, right? To be the people who choose our president, right? Our leaders. Okay, and this is not an uncommon belief at the time, right? We've talked about kind of that elitist view of democracy, particularly early, right? We had a smaller number of literacy, we had a smaller number of educated people, right? So that idea of an elite democracy was pretty popular and pretty attractive for the founders, right? And Hamilton's kind of putting forth why why that should exist and why the Electoral College is a good idea um, for American democracy. Okay, here we have this cartoon. Okay, so take a minute here, look at it. Okay, so we see, right, a horse with the Electoral College in a thought bubble. I know it seems a bit archaic, doesn't it? Right? Because we have that modern technology of the president's vehicle right behind, but it's being pulled by that horse. Okay, on the way to the White House. Right? Now, obviously, this is a satirical piece about the Electoral College, making a claim that it is a bit archaic, right? But the second question I think is important to consider too, right? Is being old and archaic necessarily bad? There are some advantages to holding on to old ways, right? So, some advantages to the Electoral College exist, right? Despite the fact that literacy has increased so much and the electorate has increased, right? There still are some benefits here to the Electoral College continuing to exist, right? And that's kind of what this cartoon leaves out, right? But what you also need to consider both sides of that argument. Okay, just because it's old and because it is strange and unique, doesn't mean it's completely ineffective, right? And that's the debate that goes on and continues to go on, right, about the Electoral College. Should it be the popular vote or should it be the Electoral College? Is it archaic to not have the popular vote determine the president, right? Or is it effective, right? Maybe it's both. Okay, so that's kind of the debate that they have, that people have throughout the country, about whether or not being old and archaic in terms of how we elect our president is still effective, right? So the Electoral College isn't an actual college, obviously, right? It's not John Belushi in Animal House here. He did not have an Electoral College sweatshirt on. He just had the college shirt, right? The Electoral College is a process here, a process by how the president is elected in America, okay? Now, typically, how this works is electors are high level party representatives, okay? And in most states, they are legally required to vote in favor of wherever the popular vote lands, right? So while it is a winner take all system, and the electors do have some slight ability in certain states to kind of manipulate votes, it's almost always going to be that the popular vote of the state takes all those votes, right? So the people's votes in that state still do matter, right? The only caveat to that is those two states that don't have the winner take all system, Maine and Nebraska, where they have their split votes, okay, where the winner of the popular votes gets those bonus votes, and then they split up and distribute the rest of the legislative districts, right? So all but Maine and Nebraska fall into that winner take all system, okay? And if you notice, we have a weird number of electors, right? That 270 to win comes from the majority of 538, right? Now we don't have 538 Congress people, right? We have 435 House members, 100 senators. You do the math, that's 435. But we are kind and we let DC have 3 votes to elect the president as well, right? This is a very unique American institution, and there are people that want it abolished in favor of that popular vote. Okay, probably will never happen. All right. Now, this is a uniquely American institution, and it makes our elections very, very unique, right? If popular votes were the only thing that mattered, if the popular vote was the only thing that counted, we would most likely in Wisconsin not be a priority for people running for president. Right now, we are a swing state. Okay, and a swing state matters only in that winner take all electoral system, right? Because we're a purple state. We balance between red and blue. Okay, so we get a lot of attention at election time, particularly in presidential elections, right? Because each candidate has a chance to take our state, right? In 2020, it was Biden. 2016, Trump. 2012, Obama, right? It's flipped. It's purple, okay? If the popular vote didn't exist, we wouldn't be such a priority, okay? So this is such a heavy impact on campaign strategy, right? Democrats aren't going to try and win over California. They already know that they have it, right? Republicans aren't going to try and win over Texas, right? They know they have it, okay? They're going to focus their stuff, their campaign money on us, on Pennsylvania, right? On North Carolina, right? These states that swing, okay? Again, the popular vote, if it was popular vote, that wouldn't really be the case. Okay, they just need to get the most number of votes, not the most state electors. Okay, so here we have the 2020 electoral map. Okay, and you can see Nebraska and Maine when you're looking at that electoral map are usually going to be striped like this because they do split votes, right? Because they are those two unique states that aren't winner take all, right? But everywhere else is winner take all, okay? Now we have states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, sometimes Florida, right? Arizona, Nevada, these swing states. This is where a lot of the attention is going to be drawn. Okay, and as you can see, these were won by, for the most part, Biden in 2020, right? Which is why Biden won the election, right? Because they were able to win over those swing states. Okay, 2016, that wasn't the case, right? In 2016, it was Trump winning over those swing states, right? Trump winning Wisconsin, okay? That's the difference, right? The swing states are the difference. Okay, and like you guys learned and have been working on through your electoral election projects, right? You understand that you need to target swing states if you're going to win the election, right? Blue states, if you're a Democrat, you don't spend a lot of time there because they're already committed, right? You already know that you are going to win over that state. Red states, Republicans are not going to have a lot of spending. Well, neither is going to have a lot of spending there because they basically know where they're going, right? There's not a lot of competition. Okay, swing states, toss them up, purple, right? Either party has an opportunity to win. Okay, and they're battleground, right? Trying to win over as many people as possible, trying to win over those median voters, right, in the general election. Okay, so these are the states that a candidate's going to focus on. Okay, here's one prediction, right? And as you can see, we have no idea, right? Because these swing states are too close to decide, right? They're too close to decide, okay? And again, this isn't candidate focused, right? This is party focused. Okay, so once candidates are put forth by each party, then this will start to solidify a little more, right? But as we've seen over the last two elections, the polling has become less and less accurate, right? Because of many reasons that we've talked about, right? Who are you polling, right? How are you reaching rural pollers, okay? Who are you asking these questions to? How are you getting their responses, right? It's becoming more complicated, okay? So polling is becoming less effective, but we do know that Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, right? These are going to be states that are going to see a lot of advertisements. They're going to see a lot of effort to get swung because they are swing states. So we're concentrating more time in those swing states, both Republicans and Democrats, right? Focusing resources, money, okay, rallies, right? Promises to those people, and try to solidify their economy, try and solidify the social issues that they're concerned about. Whatever those swing states' concerns are, that's what many campaign ads, campaign rallies are going to focus on, right? Spending money, spending time, spending effort and resources on those swing states to win them over, right? And a lot of times we're going to see selecting a running mate from a swing state too, right? If you're trying to win Wisconsin, maybe you pick somebody from Wisconsin, okay, to be the vice presidential candidate, right? Try and win people over just by that like name recognition that, oh, hey, that person's from Wisconsin. We've never had a Wisconsin resident in the White House as president or vice president, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe we'll switch our vote because of that, right? That is often a consideration that both Republicans and Democrats make. All right. Now, Florida is becoming slightly less of a swing state. Okay. Republicans are controlling more of Florida than it used to be. Okay. But as you can see here in 2016, Hillary Clinton really wanted to win Florida. Right. A lot of TV ads in Florida. Okay. You can see the Clinton campaign had a lot more ads in general in these swing states, and Trump still won many of these. Right. So this is just a significant, like, Florida being the biggest swing state in terms of population and getting the most electoral votes there, right? That's why, even though Trump's campaign and PACs and allies had low advertisements, Florida was still the highest, right, of them. And then Clinton clearly, right, 33,000 more ads than the next state, Ohio, right? So population, and you can see it kind of goes down by population here, right? And lastly, we have where you can see how ads and how spending occurred in these swing states, right? Biden outspent in nearly every state except for Georgia, right, which ended up going blue. Okay, but many of these states did swing to Biden, right? So they're swinging back and forth, right? This is where the battleground is, right? This is where we whoops. This is where we see a lot of advertising. This is where we see the campaigns. This is where the elections are won. Okay. So now you're going to go watch a video on some of the problems with the Electoral College, some of the pros and cons of it, and some alternatives that have been proposed but are really never going to pass. All right. See you tomorrow.